Hello, everybody. I can see people hopping in here. I'm just trying to configure the chat to make sure that everyone can. Eddie, can you see a chat preview there?
I see the webinar chat if I click on the chat in the bottom.
Does it open out to the side of your screen?
Yeah, if I click on it, it does. It didn't happen automatically.
Can you click on the three dots? Oh, yeah, sorry, I can see mine. No, I've got it. It's so that everyone can comment in the chat. So I've just changed that. So welcome everybody as you're joining here. We've just sorted the chat out for you. So as everyone's hopping in and we're just waiting for everyone to join, you could drop your name in the chat. Let us know where you are in the world. It's always really interesting to see how far these webinars reach around the world. Today we have Niki Riga, and she's going to be joining us to talk all about converting in your business, connecting to convert. Hi, Andrew in Ohio, and Kim from Wisconsin. We've got Eddie from Offering Tree here as well. If you've always wanted to see the face behind the name, there's Eddie at the bottom of your screen.
I'm also from Wisconsin, I'll just say.
Cool. We've got Polly from Florida. Lovely. Oh, and Donna from New York City. Hi. So as everyone's hopping on, I'll just give you a quick overview of what we're doing today. So we are Offering Tree. If you're new to Offering Tree, we are an all-in-one business platform for solopreneurs and studios for your wellness business. So it's everything that you need in one handy place. Your website, your scheduling, if you're teaching online or you teach in person, we can support you. And we're always trying to grow the software too and include new features. So we always want to hear from our users and from people who are just finding us. And we host these webinars regularly. So something else we want to hear from you on is any topics that you might want to learn about in these webinars. Today's topic is going to be a good one. We hear about this a lot, how you can convert the clients that show interest in your business into someone who's actually using your offering. So we're really excited to bring Niki in front of everybody today. So my name is Sinead. I'm part of the Offering Tree team. If you're just joining us, we've got Eddie, who is one of our co-founders. We've got Niki, who's going to be hosting the webinar, and I'm going to hand over to Niki in just a second. So we've got lots of people. Lauren from Charleston, hello. Seattle, Iowa, Virginia, and Denver. Hi, everybody. Can Canva integrate with Offering Tree? I'm going to come back to you on that one so that I don't delay Niki taking over here, Kim. So Niki, I'm going to hand over to you. I'm going to turn my screen off, but I'll be here in the background if anybody needs anything. So over to Niki.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen. So can you all see the connect to convert part of my screen?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. I have 3 monitors, so I want to make sure I'm sharing the correct monitor. I've been having some tech problems today, as Eddie and Sinead can attest to. Okay. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you here. Thanks for dropping in where you're from. It's much more fun to talk to people when I know where they're from. So thank you for dropping in your location. I'm actually in Spokane, so the Seattle, the Seattle studio on here. We're not too far away from each other. Nice to see y'all. Okay, so if you have questions as I go through, feel free to drop them in chat, right? I'm going to attempt to see them, and then I will also answer them all at the end. So we'll have a little bit of both. I'm going to try, I've got a lot of information today. This is my favorite topic. I talk about it all the time. So I'm going to try and go as quickly as I possibly can. If I lose you, throw your hand up, right, and tell me to slow down, okay? Should we get started? Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Okay, today we're talking about...
I'll try to monitor the chat for you too, Niki.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally I have my assistant on these, so I'm a little bit lonely. So that will be helpful. Thank you. If you see somebody who needs me to stop, please yell. I'll try. I have it up on my other monitor, but thank you. Okay, ready? Today we're talking about connect to convert, how to double your sales and your profits with one simple process. This is my signature program. It is the one I use with all of my clients. I'm going to talk about myself in a little while. I promise I won't I won't stay a stranger, but we're going to start going in the meantime, and then I'll tell you who I am. Okay. So the reason why increasing your conversion rate by just 5% can increase your profits by between 25 and 95%. This is a Harvard Business Review stat and finding. It's very important finding, right? People are often surprised by this particular stat and how much just a 5% conversion can do to your bottom line. I see this all the time with my private clients, and I've seen it with clients who have just gone through my programs as well. So if you can increase by just 5%, y'all, just 5%, you can increase your profits by a quarter. So here is one of my favorite examples. This is Grace. She's actually one of my private clients, and she has been for a long time. She says she went from $6,000 a month in recurring revenue to $11,000 a month after implementing the Connect to Convert process. You can see down here, here's her 6. This is a screenshot from her sales tracker. 6,000, then 7,000, then 11,500. So the numbers speak for themselves. I've seen it in large studios. I've seen it in solopreneurs. So we forget often when we are stuck in the hustle of solopreneurship or studio ownership, how important your Connect to Convert sales process is. It's often an afterthought. People are often uncomfortable with their sales process. So my job is to take some of the stigma out, make it less scary, and walk you through it so you can plug and play it and put it into your own business without having to recreate everything you do, right? This is one of you. If you follow me on Instagram, it's your_limitless_studio. I just posted this on Friday, and there was a bunch of communication about it. If even half the people who inquired or stopped by your studio bought a package, your bottom line would be a totally different story. If just half the people bought, right? That's what we're talking is ideally, we want a 50% conversion rate. Conversion is how many people buy based on how many people either inquire or buy an intro. That's what we're talking. And I use the word conversion a lot. So let's start with the definition, shall we? Here is another one of my, I took this screenshot from MindBody. I took it last weekend off of one of my clients who is in Canada. She implemented her sales process 3 months ago. We just started working together 3 months ago. This 1,100% increase, that's what happened after 3 months. So the reason why I show you these is so that you know I am not lying to you, right? I'm not making these numbers up. All of these are real. All of them are doable. None of the clients who came to me had a functioning, successful sales process when they started with me. And then 1,100% increase, right? An insane increase in just 3 months. So totally possible. Here are some more. I've been a consultant in the industry for 7 years now. I've also owned a boutique fitness studio. So my studio is still alive and well. It's in Bay Area, California. It's called Flex Fusion Studios. We sold when I had my first son, and we moved. Unfortunately, we had to move for my husband's work into a different time zone. So we sold, but I consult for the studio still. So I'm still involved. I still guest teach. I'm just not in the day-to-day. But I did own my studio for 4 years, and then now I'm just on the board, and I have consulted in the area in the industry for 7 years. So you may have seen me in some of the on some of the big podcasts, or I was just at Ursa, which is where I ran into Eddie. So I've been around in the industry for a long time, and these are some of my little testaments that you can see on my screen of clients who have worked with me or clients who've just gone through my courses. So that's who I am. Here's another one of my favorite examples. This is in October when I started working with this particular client. This is a Spokane client. Started working with her in October, and this is where she's at now. She's seen a 79% increase in her membership since October. It was wild. She was shocked. Just look at how fast it went from October to November, right? There was a 40% increase there in boutique fitness memberships, and we hiked her rates by about 25%. So this isn't a revenue look. This is an active member look. All right, I told you I would introduce myself. Here I am. My name is Niki. I have one little boy, one little human boy, 3 little little men who follow me around. They're actually behind me, so I'm hoping they stay asleep. I am a serial traveler. That's why I'm a consultant, is my son and I get on planes with my laptop, go all over the world, visit studios all over. I get to see all my clients, and then I also get to take boutique fitness classes all over the world. So I wouldn't change my job for the world. It's the best. I became a coach because I was asked all the time, how did you do that? And this was when I was a baby studio owner. I opened my studio when I was only 25 years old. It was in the middle of Silicon Valley. I was competing against SoulCycle and Core Power and Pure Barre, and you name it, the chain is there. So just a little bit of pressure, guys, just a little bit of pressure. I had no choice. It was either bankruptcy or success. I'm standing on this side today to tell you it was success, right? But it was touch and go there for a while until I hired a coach who taught me how to sell. Not how to sell in like a icky, backhanded, high pressure way. How to sell in a way that was helpful. I took her foundation and started trialing new parts, trialing new things. I finished my MBA at the time. It was in small business entrepreneurship. I started putting into practice things I had learned in my courses. And I realized that the idea that if you build it, they will come is a lie, right? How many of you have experienced that particular sad fact? If you build it, they may come by, but they're not going to stay and buy and be there for years and years and years, right? So learned it the hard way. I'm sure many of us have learned it the hard way. Here's how to fix it, okay? Let's talk about you. That's enough about me. So out of the group, what I understand who I'm talking to today, you fall into two kind of main categories. You're either a fitness or wellness teacher. So a fitness or wellness pro who wants to maximize your class sizes, build a loyal following, envisions a future in boutique fitness or wellness as an instructor, an owner, or a manager. I've been in all of those roles, right, before I'm in my current spot. You thrive on authentic connection, buzzing classes, and helping others build relationships. And you probably got into fitness because you wanted to help people reach their goals, right? You can tell me in the chat, that way I'm not talking to the void, why you particularly got into this business. I'd love to hear it. Or you're a business owner, right? Fitness and wellness pro who is probably tapped out on time, managing multiple parts of your business at all times. I know how it feels to solopreneur. When I started Flex, it was just me. I was teaching all the classes, doing all the desk work, doing the marketing, doing things that I had never even thought about doing before, mopping the floors, right? When I sold, I had 20 staff members, 3 managers, 5 desk staff. And I got to do all the parts that I wanted to do, and none of the parts I didn't. I always tell people that that's when the second half of my life started, is when I hired my manager for the first time. So I had someone to say, hey, will you help me with this? Life-changing. You hustle to get new leads every month, but marketing is expensive and or unreliable. We all know that the algorithms are doing weird things right now. You see leads come in, but less than half of them stay more than 30 days. That is a really common statistic in our industry. Typically, about a third of new clients who come in are gone within the first 30 days. Third. Not great, right? Not great odds. You want to see your bottom line reflect your studio's potential and all of your effort? Any of you still running those 3 a.m. work shifts? Because I remember how that feels. You know you have something great if you could communicate it to newbies, and this is my favorite, you would like to cherry pick your perfect client rather than taking anybody who comes in who may or may not be a good fit for your studio. There is nothing more satisfying than being able to tell somebody, hey, you know what we offer isn't quite what you're looking for. You know where you might want to go is down the street. Or being able to say, hey, this client doesn't fit our particular vibe. We're probably not the right fit for them. That's okay. Here's somewhere where I think that they're going to thrive. You don't have to take every client that walks in your door. And it's when you can be really intentional about that, when you have the space and the bottom line sharing, it's a lot easier to build the studio that you have in the back of your head. Oh, I love this. I'm reading why people became the teachers and the yoga teachers. That's one of my big loves, is finding out how people ended up in this industry, because I know it wasn't because you like sales and spreadsheets, right? That doesn't mean we're not going to do it, but most of the time, not the same. Above all, you are most likely, in my experience, a dream studio seeker. You want to create the business that supports your lifestyle, lets you hang out with your family and friends, design how you want your days. Maybe you want to travel like me, live life on your terms without being glued to your studio. I took 2 months off. I still do. I take 2 months off every summer. I leave. I am from Alaska. I spend my summers in Alaska. No cell phone service, no Wi-Fi. And my studio did just fine in the summers because we had these systems in place, right? I had staff and I had systems in place so that when I left, unplugged from everything and I got on my family's boat. It's not as luxurious as it sounds. It's like a tiny little fishing skiff. But when I got on, I knew that my studio was going to be okay. And 60 days later, I would get off, go back, and everything was still standing. That's the goal, right? The goal is that you can go on vacation, you can travel, you can just take a weekend off, and nothing is on fire when you come out the other side. We'll get you there. Here's an unfortunate truth in our industry. 81% of fitness businesses fail in their first year. 81%. The number one reason is because they run out of money. They either don't have the profitability coming in or they run out of capital. 81%. Not you, right? Not you. You're still here, which means that you're doing something right. And you're here at this exact moment, which means that you know you need to do something to continue to stay here. A lot of the studios that I work with in my private clients are somewhere between their 3-year and 11-year mark, right? That's the range. I joke that boutique fitness is actually in dog years. 1 year is like 7 years of owning any other kind of business, which it may feel like for you right now, right? But that is the number one thing we need to keep in the back of your mind, is that you can own a heart-based studio. A lot of times I have yoga teachers who tell me like, oh, well, I can't do sales. It's a yoga. It needs to be heart-based and for the community. It can be both. It can be both. You can both run a heart-based business and have a really beautiful community and pay yourself what you're worth. That way you can stick around, right? Because if you run out of money, you cannot offer your services to your community. So let's talk about how we're going to fix this, okay? We're going to learn 3 things today. Well, we're going to learn a lot of things, but we're going to learn 3 main buckets. You have 5 steps you need to implement in your sales process to close more sales, okay? 5 things that you need to start doing ASAP tomorrow. You can take screenshots of this. I don't mind at all, but you're also going to get this recording, right? The questions to ask to improve your conversion rate by 50%. Remember, conversion rate in my world is how many intros by memberships, okay? Ideally, your conversion rate is above 50%. With most of my private clients, we're sitting around somewhere around 75%. So 75% of their intro clients buy memberships or long-term class packages. These are the 3 questions you need to ask, okay? Last one, the coach to close method that my studios use. This is what all my private clients use. This is what my studio still uses. This is what everybody I have worked with in the last 7 years uses. So it's my signature program. I'm going to teach it to you. Ready? Go. At the end, you're going to receive an exclusive opportunity to join my flagship program. It's called the Studio Sales Solution. I have provided a discount for offering tree. It's good today, and I will continue to, I'll give it through until you guys listen to the webinar. So if you're listening to the replay, I'll keep it up for like the next 48 hours. So you'll see that at the end. You need the code at the end. Okay, ready? Checklist to close. I'm going to walk you through what all of these mean. They inquired. Now what? Checklist to close. You can take a screenshot of this if you would like. It's also up on my Instagram all the time. It's on my website all the time. And I'm going to kind of hit you over the head with this today, but feel free to take a screenshot if you would like to remember it. These are the 5 steps you need to do every single time to close your sale. We're going to walk through them one by one. First, connect and be confident. This is a foundational problem and is the biggest problem I see. Confidence, right? Right out of the gate. If you don't believe people are going to buy, they're not going to buy. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I've lived that one. I learned that one the hard way. Learn their goals and objections. If you don't know why people are standing in front of you, you cannot sell them what they want to buy. It's impossible. If you don't know what could be holding them back, it's too late if you learn at the end when you ask for their credit card. So we're going to dive into that quite a bit. Outline the perks and benefits first. This is how you present a sales pitch. Suggest a tailored purchase option. That's the coach to close method I was talking about. And encourage a quick decision with incentives. Looks great, right? What does it mean? Connect and be confident. I call this connect to convert. If you're not connecting with the client, you're not converting the client. We are in boutique fitness and wellness. Clients come to us with trust that we are going to fix their problems. If we do not connect with them on a human level before we try to sell them something, it comes across as scammy, right? Nobody wants to buy something from a stranger. They have to like, know, and trust you before they're going to buy. So we have to connect. Step one, though, your confidence. I told you before that when I first opened my studio, I was 25 years old. I was a baby, right? I was just a baby. Silicon Valley, trying not to bankrupt my new husband and I, okay? I had zero confidence. I had horrible, what is it called? Imposter syndrome. That's what it's called. And I would be trying to sell these clients these $100+ packages. And in my head, I'm like, they're not going to buy this from me. They think I'm a kid. They're never going to buy. Spiral, hamster wheel, self-fulfilling prophecy. I was totally right. They weren't buying, right? Hired my first coach with money I didn't have. He had me do my sales pitch. I was like looking at the floor and I was stressed out and I was intimidated by this coach anyways, right? Couldn't really afford him, didn't really want him to know that. And he was like, you don't believe that anyone's going to buy, do you? No, I didn't. So with my own clients, I have them go through this confidence improving process over and over and over. And it feels like soft skills. But tell me, have you ever taken a class from a new boutique fitness teacher? It's their first time. They're like Bambi on ice, right? Their legs are shaky, their voice is shaky. The class, not great, usually. They lack the confidence. And confidence is something that only comes with repetition and with practice. I have trained so many instructors in my life. Like what I'm training you guys in, this is how I train my instructors. We have a very specific modality, very specific style. And that confidence only comes with practice. But unfortunately, with that confidence comes success. Clients don't want to take their classes before they're ready because it's kind of painful, right? Same thing with your sales process. You are the expert. You know best. If that were not the case, your client wouldn't be standing in front of you asking for help, right? They'd be at your competitor. They would be asking somebody else. You're knowledgeable, you're probably certified, you're an expert in your field. The client has already done all of this research on Google or Facebook or Instagram, wherever they are, to decide whether or not they're going to come to you with some of their more vulnerable problems, maybe parts of themselves that they don't like or that they really want to change. Your job is to take it and to let that kind of fuel your intrinsic confidence to say, hey, I've got you. I can help you with that. This is what we're going to do, right? That feels so much different than, oh, well, I have some options, but maybe you'll like them. Maybe you won't. Here's my pricing menu, right? So if you take nothing else away today, I want you to practice your sales pitch in your phone on record, in your mirror out loud with your significant other or with your friends or with a teacher. Practice and practice and practice and practice until you could pitch to the creator of boutique fitness, right? Until you could pitch to anybody and feel comfortable and confident. If you communicate that you are undersure, underconfident, they're not going to buy. It's a giant red flag, okay? Lori here is one of my clients who lacked major confidence, no sales process whatsoever. I actually was attending her studio as a client. I did not pitch my services. I never do. I think it's a lot of pressure. I'm an MTT also in the bar world. So I'm a master trainer. I train instructors. A lot of pressure for a bar studio owner or a bar teacher on like a random Tuesday, right? Well, she did some digging, found my email, figured out who I was, asked to work with me, got my last spot. This is her story of how much her memberships increased. Just by, honestly, we just added some confidence behind her pitch at first. That's all she needed. 800% increase in the first month, right? It's wild. Start with the goal. This goes back to the connect. If you don't know what your client is hoping to achieve, how can you give it to them? You want them to spend their intro special with a curated experience that says, hey, you can stop searching for a yoga class. You can stop searching for your new personal trainer. I've got you. I'm going to solve your problem. But if you don't know their problem, you can't communicate that. So these are the 3 most important questions I want you to ask every single client who walks in your door. Number 1, what brings you to our studio? If you're a solopreneur, what brings you to my class? What brings you to insert your modality here, right? Why are they there? They're going to tell you something like, I'm really stressed out, or my doctor says I have high blood pressure, or I want to lose 10 pounds before my wedding. That's one I used to get a lot. Or I just need a break from my kids for an hour. That's why I work out. Can I teach myself at home? Yeah, you betcha. Do I want to? No, I need to go somewhere else, spend an hour in silence, right? What brings you to our studio? We need to know. Write it down. Put it in your software. In my course, I have a template of a document that I have my clients write. They literally write down, okay, you're here because what are your specific fitness goals or wellness goals if you're a wellness practitioner? That is what are you specifically trying to achieve? There is a difference between these two questions, right? I get asked that a lot. The first one, what brings you to our studio? You're usually going to hear something like, oh, well, I haven't been working out lately. When you ask the second one, what are your specific fitness goals or what are you specifically hoping to achieve with us? That's a different question, right? That is a more specific, down a level root cause. We want to know their root cause. If you are a multimodality studio like my boutique fitness studio, I want to know if they're there for relaxation. That's my gentle yoga program. Or if they're there to get their butt kicked and tone up. That's my boot camp program, right? I need to know which program I'm going to put you in, because say you're there for relaxation and I recommend boot camp with Carly, my most intense instructor, you just had a terrible experience. And it was just because you chose your own adventure the wrong direction, right? Question number 2. Number 3, how often would you like to come to our studio to work on your goals? How often do you want to come? Do you want to come once a week? Great. Do you want to come every day after work? Great. Do you want to come in the morning and at night, which is what I see at my studio? Perfect. Those are different future memberships, right? Those are different packages that we're going to sell them in the future. So how often would you like to come? Yes, we're going to help them during their intro special. I recommend you book their classes for them. I talk about this in the course. I recommend that you literally book them through, add it to their phone, add it to their calendar. Here's the classes you're going to take. I'm going to take them with you. Or this is the client that's going to be in class with you. Let me introduce you. That is different than here's our intro special. It's 2 weeks unlimited. Hope to see you, right? Maybe they come, maybe they don't. Already, we've lost our edge on that conversion rate. So there's your next screenshot if you would like it. While you take it, I'm going to take a drink. Okay, 3 most important questions, as promised. Next up, same bucket here. We're still talking about the connect to convert. Learn their potential objections. Here's why. If you wait to learn what's holding them back until you ask for their credit card, right? It's too late. You need their full intro special. So often it's 2 weeks, but you need their full intro special to walk them through how you're going to work around their potential roadblocks. You need to show them how you can solve their pain points and solve their goals, and how their objection that they have in their back of their head is not going to hold them back. If you wait and you don't learn this question and you say, okay, sign here, credit card, right? And they say, oh, well, kind of expensive, or I don't know, I don't have a lot of free time, or I need to ask my husband, right? That's a common objection. It's too late. You've lost your potential to work around that. We need to know on day 1, 2, or 3. So I ask clients I do a little connect to convert conversation, and I ask them, everybody has something that has the potential to stand in your way. What do you think could potentially hold you back from reaching your goal of touching your toes, right? And then they say one usually of 5 things. This is a little bit outside the scope of this particular webinar. It's an entire module in the course, but they say one of 5 things, and I can use that in the back of my head. I say, okay, they're saying scheduling. Scheduling is a problem for them. They've got a really tight schedule. They've got 3 kids. They work full time. How am I going to work around this objection during their intro special so that when I get to the end, when I get to the sales pitch, that problem it's not even on the table, right? If it's a scheduling problem, we're going to whip out my little scheduling template and we're going to say, okay, you've got 6 a.m.s and 7 p.m.s available. How many times do you want to come? 3 times a week? Perfect. Here are your 3 classes. They come for those 6 classes during their 2-week special. And then when I go to book them into their membership at the end, that particular objection has been outlawed. It's been overruled, right? Because if they were to say, oh, well, scheduling, I'm going to say, hey, Sarah, you came 6 times during your intro. You did such a great job. You really proved to yourself that you can overcome this particular scheduling problem just by pre-scheduling it into your work calendar or scheduling it into your phone or A, B, C, D, and E, right? So objections, we need to know before the end. This is a big problem that I see often with boutique fitness sales, is that you wait till the end because nobody likes to be rejected, right? We don't want to know. It's like the ostrich head in the sand thing. I know that's not real, but it's a really great image, right? You need to ask early. Get your rejection up front so that you can counteract it. Okay. Buyers are more willing. Oh, did I lose one? No, I didn't. Buyers are more willing to buy when we lead with what they get rather than with what it costs, right? That's our next one here. Oh no, go back. As part of your package, you get A, B, C, D, and E. Okay. This is our coach to close kind of theme here. As part of your package, you get. So we're leading with what they get during their intro special and during their particular package. So as part of your package, you're going to list the perks. You're going to list any partnerships you have, any bonuses you offer, community that they get with it, right? Members, most people join in-home studios for community. However, most people also join online studios for a sense of accountability and community. So don't forget to pitch your community here, right? And then your social proof. You've seen social proof with me already. It's screenshots. This is what it looks like. As part of your membership, you also get priority booking, a 10% discount on retail, free access to our workshops, monthly member events, comped equipment rentals, free consultation with our wellness coach, and a complimentary goal achievement session, the Connect to Convert conversation that I've been talking to you about. We just pitch it as a bonus, right? Every quarter, our month-to-month option is $199, no contract. But if you'd like to save $120 during your membership, our 6-month option is only $179. It is our most popular option. Notice that the price is at the end, right? This is the coach to close that I was talking about. The price is at the end, not at the beginning. If I tell you, okay, for $199, you get unlimited classes, all you hear me say is $199. We're not hiding the price. I want to be really clear that this is not a like bait and switch, secret, hide it under the rug. We're not hiding it. We're just leading with the value. We're front loading it with the perks, the partnerships, the bonuses, community, and social proof. This is actually my studio's sales pitch that I will be able to give probably on my deathbed. I've given it so many times that I am positive I could give it on my deathbed. I coach with needle movers when I'm working with my private clients. I want you to have something to take home with you. Your take home for this particular module, if you will, is you're front loading your sales pitch. If you are currently thinking to yourself, well, I don't have any perks, make some. Come up with them. They don't have to cost you anything, right? Priority booking doesn't cost me anything. 10% discount on retail, does it cost me maybe, it cost me 10% in theory, but worth it. Free access to our workshops, monthly member events, doesn't cost me anything. Free consultation with a wellness coach, that doesn't cost me anything either. It's one of our instructors, right? So if you don't have any perks, if it's just the classes, think about how you can phrase your membership pitch to provide perks, partnerships, bonuses, community, or social proof. That community can be that's an important part of your membership. Remember, most clients join for the community aspect. My studio's business model are the first line in our, what is that thing called? What our mission statement. The first line is Flex Fusion Studios is a community-oriented studio first. Community-oriented, connect to convert, right? That can be the first part of your sales pitch. Here's talking of social proof. Here's another one. Your sales process should work for you and continue to work to grow your bottom line. Amber says, this is one of my clients, there's still 8 days in the month and they've already signed 8 new memberships with 13 trials wrapping. This was their first month working with me. This is how they ended the month. 19 new memberships. Before then, they had been averaging 2 or 3, usually net 0, right? They were usually losing more than they were gaining. It is a different way of thinking about your sales process. It's helping versus selling, right? Suggest a tailored, suggest a tailored purchase option. That's our next one up here. The biggest industry mistake that I see with sales processes is handing your entire pricing menu to the client. This is online or in person, okay? Again, I don't want you to feel like you're hiding your pricing. It's not what we're doing. But most people get overwhelmed. They get choice paralysis. I'm going to talk about this in a second. So handing over your entire menu, here's our options, right? Now you've communicated to the client, I'm not the expert here. You are. You pick, right? It's overwhelming, and it usually results in, you probably have heard this before, I need to think about it. We don't want them to have to think about it, right? I need to think about it is communicating to you, I'm overwhelmed and I don't know which one to choose, and I don't want to choose wrong, okay? Instead, you say, based on your schedule and your goals, this is the option I recommend for you, or this is the perfect option that pairs with that, or this is the option that's best for you, and then have a backup, okay? Make sense? If you give them everything that you have, they're going to pick the path of least resistance. They're going to pick the cheapest package or the shortest package. Well, if their goal was to improve their back pain, right, or fix their headaches, or lose 10 pounds by their wedding, right, the one I hear the most, are they going to be able to do that with a 5-class pack? No. All they've done is just spent maybe $250, right? It's not helping the client, and it's not helping you, which means that for the client, they're not going to see results, which is the number one metric that clients want to see. The number one reason why they stick with a boutique fitness studio is because they're seeing results of some sort, whatever that means, whether mental, physical, etc. If they don't see results, they're not going to rebuy. We have to choose the one that is best for them, with them. This is the one I choose for you based on your particular goals and your schedule. And then if they say something like, oh, well, it's kind of expensive, then we say, okay, let's start with this one. This one also works for your goals. It's going to take a little bit longer, but you're still going to get there. You're still going to get where you want, as opposed to a you pick, right? We want them to have a choose your own adventure route within reason. So your website, if you have every single offering and there's like 20 things on there, pare it down. Or my favorite way to deal with this is ask a question with it. Are you looking for flexibility? Here's your option. Are you looking for best value? Here's your option, right? If you give them too many, they pick nothing. This is not just me saying this. This is over and over and over in buyer psychology findings. But you can also trust me. That'd be fine. Encourage a quick decision with an incentive. Where we're at. Urgency is the leading incentive to purchase. The leading incentive is a sense of urgency. Here's my example for you. We're going to add a lever here. There's 2 different levers, discount given and value add. Oh, yes, exactly, Eddie. Discount given, value add. So my example of this is you go to the store, let's say you go to Target, and you're there for groceries, and you pass your favorite pair of jeans, and they are 50% off. You weren't planning on shopping for jeans, but they're 50% off. Are you going to buy them? Probably. Now let's say they're 50% off and there is a sign next to them that say discontinuing. Are you going to buy every single pair in your size? For sure, right? That's a discount given. Now let's say it's a value add. If you buy a pair of jeans, you get a second pair of jeans. Or if you buy a pair of jeans, you get a pair of shoes, right? Those are your 2 options. The assumptive close, which is also a little bit outside of this webinar, but you can read about it on my website. It's also in the course. Remember, when you purchase before the end of your intro special, you save X, right? It's a really important part of your sales pitch. The keyword there is when you purchase before the end of your intro special. Here's examples of discount given that we often see in boutique fitness. You credit the cost of your intro offer to your first month's membership. So maybe if you have a $50 intro offer, you have a $100 membership, first month's only $50. I really like that one. Save $50 off of your first month, period. Another common one. Or 15% off of your off of your class pack purchase, okay? These are all discount given. I'm gonna pause on what I was just about to say. I'll say it next. Value add. Purchase a membership and receive a complimentary nutrition evaluation. Or maybe a Baker's Dozen membership. You sign a 12-month membership, you get your 13th month free. Or you get a free yoga mat with your purchase. Now, if you're wondering, discount given, value add, what do my clients want? Depends on your clients, right? You might have to trial it. You might have to try a couple of different ones before you figure out what your particular clients are after. My first business, Flex, they are price conscious. They want discounts. They don't want value adds. They want discounts. My current business, they want value adds. They want an extra hour with me, or they want a extra bonus on top of it. They're not as cost conscious, right? You need to trial it to see what your particular clients want. Where'd my mouse go? Okay. This is what I want you to remember for this part. Remember how I give you your little needle movers? What I want you to remember for this coach to close method that we're talking about right now is, instead of thinking, how do I get this person to buy? I hear that a lot in my line of work, right? How do I get this person to buy? I don't know how to make them buy. Instead of thinking like that, I want you to think, which of my offerings would perfectly fit this particular client's needs and goals, right? What can I give them that is going to be a no-brainer for them? I want you to flip the script in your own head. We're talking about flipping the script of what you say out loud, right? But also flip the script of what your clients are experiencing with you. This small little change makes a huge difference. Here's an example. This is 2022 versus 2023. 2022, I did not work with this client. 2023, I did. We did a lot of work on her sales process. This is a yoga studio. One of my favorites had a lot of concerns about having a sales process in a yoga studio, right? She really felt like sales and yoga don't go together. Pushy sales and yoga don't go together, right? But the idea of helping somebody and saying, okay, which of my offerings would really make the biggest difference in their life? What would change their life? Oh, it's this package. This is the one they need to hit their goals. That's a different question. It's a different process. It's a lot easier to sell. Choice paralysis, going back from what we were just talking about, right? Most studios try to show that they have something for everyone. So they present every option they have. Doesn't help, backfires. Here's your script again. Based on your goals and schedule, this is the perfect option for you. You are the expert. Stand in your power. Be prepared with a backup, but stand in your power. Here's your reminder. You are coaching your client into their best offer, their best option from the moment they walk in. Your sales process started with the first phone call, started when they started their intro, right? Your sales process is not 14 days in when they're standing in front of your desk with a credit card. Too late. Every moment, this is what Eddie heard me speak about at Ursa. Every moment during your intro offer and your entire experience with them is your retention for whether they're going to rebuy or re-sign or buy for the first time, right? Every moment counts. But when you create these systems that work in the background, you don't have to do anything. It's happening for you. It's a whole lot easier. Here's going back to the social proof, right? When your sales process works, you make more money even when visits are slow. Look at this particular client. First visits down, attendance down, online bookings down. Look at the sales. Sales are up by 41%. She does product sales through her Venmo, which I do not recommend. New contract sales up by 880%. That's 49, right? If your sales process works, you are not reliant on whether or not you get enough leads that month. So let's say it's July, which is historically the lowest month for boutique fitness and wellness in our industry. Doesn't matter. Your sales process still works. Okay. This particular client paid for her program in 2 months, and her auto pays were up by 10% in just 3 weeks. 10%. She had a great program. She had a great studio. It's gorgeous. She needed a sales process. She didn't have one. Ta-da. This client is now, it says 10% here, but I know this client, obviously. She's up 35% right now, and it's been 3 months. So it works. It works no matter what. Works for online, solopreneur, doesn't matter. Okay, recap number 1, because I know it's a lot of information in an hour and I want you to be able to absorb it. The 5 steps you need to implement in your sales process to close more sales are: connect and be confident, learn their goals and objections, outline the perks and benefits first, suggest a tailored purchase option, and then encourage a quick decision with an incentive. Let me read. Let's If you have questions on this particular part, why don't you drop them in the chat and we will we'll take a minute and we'll talk about them. So if you have questions on those 5 steps, drop them in the chat. I see one right here, so I'm going to read it real quick. What if you have different levels of memberships or you want to offer different ones? So I'm assuming you have different options or different levels of memberships. So at my particular studio, I'm going to start from the bottom. We have our teal, which is 4 classes a month. We have our silver, which is 8 classes a month. We have our VIP, which is unlimited classes. And then we have our VIP plus, which is unlimited classes plus 1 personal training. So I'm assuming you have different levels of memberships, right? We also, within that, have different terms. We have a month-to-month, we have a 6-month. We used to have a month-to-month, a 6-month, a 12-month. We got rid of our 12-month because we're in California. Nobody was buying 12 months in California anymore. Same if you're from Canada, same with Canadian studios. You guys got hit really hard with COVID. People still have essentially PTSD from being locked into memberships they couldn't use, right? So if you have these different levels of memberships, you're just going to ask those specific questions. That comes back to how often do you want to come? Asking their potential objections, right? Is this client commitment phobic or are they cost phobic? Well, if they're commitment phobic, we're going to offer our month-to-month membership and tell them, hey, if you want to save money, we also have a 6-month, right? If they're cost phobic, we're going to offer our cheapest membership option that still fits their goals. So let's say that that you offer a VIP and unlimited membership and it's $250 a month, and you know that client is cost cautious. Then you can tell them, okay, I've got 2 options for you that I think would be really great. Option 1 is our VIP membership, unlimited classes. This one's really going to meet your goals, $250 a month. I know you mentioned before that budget is a bit of a concern, so I also pulled this membership for you, which will still help you hit your goals. And it's cheaper. It's this much per month. Okay. So we're showing, I listened to you, I heard your goals, and I have taken them into account. Not, I really want to sell my VIP membership because it's my most expensive and I get the most money. Right? Does that make sense? If y'all have questions, please keep dropping them in here. Okay, good. How do you base memberships if you offer mainly series? Well, I have a client who is series based. Now, series is a little bit tricky. The reason why is because it's a lot of marketing, right? You have to constantly be kind of hustling in your marketing in order to meet your targets, meet your sales for the next month. Same idea though, still all of the same. If you offer a series, then rather than pitching the different like membership options, like I was just talking about with Tina, now you're pitching the perks of why they should join the series. This is what you get with this particular series. We're doing A, B, and C. We're focusing on C, D, and E. There's only 3 spots left in this series. I want to make sure that you're a part of it. Same idea. We're just tweaking the actual presentation of the offering, but everything else is still the same. We're still listening to their goals and objections and what they're hoping to get out of it. Still pitching the perks first. In your case, the perks are what you are offering in the upcoming series. Even if the series is always the same, it doesn't matter. Come up with why this particular series is so important. Like maybe it's your spring break series and it's leading into summer, or maybe it's special for the holiday season because people really need to get their yoga, bar, TRX, whatever it is, in that way they can survive through the season, right? So think about the why in there. Recap number 2. The questions to ask to improve your conversion rate by 50%. You're welcome, Rebecca. If you have questions on this one, feel free to drop them in. What brings you to our studio? What are your specific fitness goals or wellness goals, or insert goals here that fit your studio? Oh, something I hear from a lot of people is, well, goals doesn't fit my particular studio. Great. What brings you in today? What is your intention for your practice? What are you hoping to achieve, right? Even if goals doesn't fit, change the word. That part's not important. How often would you like to come to the studio to work on whatever they said there? Recap number 3, the coach to close method that my studios use to close above 70%. As part of your package, you get perks, partnerships, bonuses, community, social proof. Oh, thank you, Eddie, for adding that there. As part of your membership, you also get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of your perks. Here's the price. Here's the why. Change your sales pitch. Flop it on its head. Do it backwards. Okay. Not complicated. It feels complicated right now because you don't have the playbook or the system, right? When I start working with new studios, it's always the same issues. It doesn't matter. I see studios all over the world. I keep most of my private clients for, on average, 5 years, mainly because people just like to have me in their back pocket, right? It is not, it's not as complicated as we make it. And I know that because I have been there in those shoes of me being like, I'm going to bankrupt my family, right? My brand new marriage, I'm going to bankrupt us because I don't know how to make people buy. That was my exact like daily hamster wheel mantra. It's not working. Why isn't it working? The classes are great. People love the classes. The community is amazing. Why aren't they buying? I just didn't know how to sell in our particular industry, right? Our industry requires a heart-based approach. It does. It requires an intention or a goal-based approach because of who we are. That's what people are coming to you for, right? It is always the same issues when I start working with a new client. And everybody always comes to me saying, oh, no, mine's different. I promise you it's not. It's always the same issues. Too many choices, low confidence, no system, lack of lead tracking. So that doesn't mean that it is cookie cutter. We customize it. Everything needs to be customized. Everything needs to be authentic. If it's not authentic, people can sense it. They can smell it, right? It has to be true to your studio's culture, your culture as an instructor or as a studio owner, and it has to fit your vibe. But it does work. The only time I see this not work is when a client doesn't trust the process and they don't track their leads or buy in, just like your clients, right? Your clients come to you 6 months later and they say, it's not working. You're like, I've seen you 3 times in the last 6 months. That's the only time I see it not work. Here are some little screenshots from some of my studios that I work with. I pulled all these this week. I felt pretty good about it. I use a lead tracker. It's in the course. You can use a spreadsheet, right? I use a Google Sheet that has it's pretty fancy, but it doesn't have to be. If you were just looking for a way to track your leads, use a Google Sheet or print it out on a piece of paper. Track your leads. When did they come? Where did they come from? What are they looking for? Here's your communication practices. You'll see a version of mine in the page in the here. I'll put it in here. You will see an example of mine. I don't use a particularly fancy program system, blah, blah, blah. I just use a spreadsheet because I found that I am the most, / my client cares the most about their leads, right? 20 minutes a day is all I ask my clients to do. 20 minutes a day, maybe less, maybe 10. If you're getting only 5 leads a month, 5 minutes a day. But make sure all of those people convert. I like this little quote from Rodriana. I actually helped Rodriana open her studio. She came to me as a brand new client, which I don't usually work with. She says Niki knows how to turn your sales process into something sustainable and profitable. So important. Oh, this kind of solves that question, Donna. What if it's just me? 40% of my clients are solopreneurs, right? You have everything it takes to run a successful fitness business. You just need a playbook. That's all you need. Okay, now what? Studio Sales Solution is my flagship course. I launch it occasionally. It's launching this week. It's launching today. It's going to be open until Friday. It's a complete sales process you need to build a profitable business of your dreams. Here's a client who went through it last time, 30 new memberships in 6 weeks. Not bad, right? Here's what's included: live Voxer coaching with me. I offer office hours through Voxer, private student community with support, step-by-step curriculum, Canva templates, all the tech you need, sales scripts, email, text, and phone copies, client handout, tracking spreadsheets, guest expert training role plays, lifetime access to the community and the curriculum. It's usually $597 for offering tree. It's $497. There's also a payment plan in there. Oh, I have it. There's also a payment plan, so you could split it if you would like to. It's $497 through the rest of, I'll give it 3 days, just in case it is in USD, just in case. Here's your ROI that I use to explain. If you sell 5 memberships using the program at $109, you've made it up in your first month. You sell 4 at 129, you've made it up in your first month. If you sell 3 at 169, you've made it up in your first month. And here's my example of this particular studio who increased by 30 in her next month, right? It's not rocket science. It is a system. It's also plug and play. I believe in over delivering. I hate under delivering and over promising. It is my pet peeve in life. So I threw in another course in here too called Perfect Your Pricing. I sell this one for about $200. It is a complete step-by-step. Here's all the worksheets. Here's the role play. How much should you be charging? The most common question I get. What do I charge? It's not what your neighbor's charging. Not what anybody else tells you to charge. It's not what your gut instinct tells you to charge. It's what the math tells you to charge, what you're hoping to make, what your numbers reflect. So these are plug and play spreadsheets. All of the formulas are done for you. That's included as well. This is one of my favorite. This is Rosie. I made her practice her sales pitch. She says 400 times. It probably was 400 times, right? It worked. She's in Australia and she couldn't sell for her particular yoga studio because she didn't have the confidence and she didn't feel comfortable in the idea of selling. I made her practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. That studio is profitable today. I talked to Rosie after this, actually. She's my next client. It works. It does work for online studios as well. Yes, it does work. I have online studios. I have one of the largest online studios in Canada, but I also have small ones. So it's in between. Here's my favorite little disclaimer. 100% money back guarantee. You don't have to prove to me that you didn't take the course, you took the course, or you just ask for a refund in 14 days and I give it back to you. Never had to do it, but I will. And here's your last one. Will it work for me, right? Yeah, it will, but only if you put the work in, only if you do the work. Remember, that goes back to your client telling you that, oh, it's not working. You got to do the work. Is it a ton of work? Not really. It's 8 modules. None of the videos are more than 7 minutes long because there's nothing worse than taking a course and having an hour-long video to watch when you're like trying to do it between classes or between nap times, right? So nothing too long. Last little question. What would it mean? This is my studio. What would it mean for you to have extra revenue coming in every single day to your business? Probably pretty good, right? Okay. You have 3 minutes. Do you have any extra questions? I'm going to read this, this one real quick, but if you have more questions, drop them in while I read this particular question.
Thank you so much, Niki. This is a lot of useful info.
A lot of information, period, right? That's a lot of talking in an hour.
I was reading some of the questions. I think a couple came in about online, and one in particular I thought was interesting. She was saying that, or they were saying that, you know, if you don't have an in-person experience and that dynamic, and people are mostly buying and interacting online, is there anything special or different that you need to do?
I recommend, there's 3 different programs that I like to use because I'm online only, right? My consulting is online only. And I have clients all over the world. We're often not even in the same time zone. So something I like to use, there's 3 options. It's either BombBomb.com, Bonjoro, or Vidyard. I am not sponsored by any of these companies, although I feel like I should be because I talk about them all the time. Little video chat that opens up in their email. I use them every day. So I can pop up to my client and say, hey, Rosie, I noticed you submitted your numbers to know this month. Amazing. Such a great job. You're doing so great towards hitting those goals. Super excited for you. Done. Rosie now has that little like warm fuzzy. She opened up her inbox. She saw me. We've connected. She knows my face. I send this for clients when they inquire to work with me. Anytime I open up my private clients, I always keep a wait list. And if I open up my private clients, then I get flooded with people trying to like join the private clients. So I will pop up on a little bomb and say, hey, Eddie, I see that you're signed up to work with me tomorrow or to do a discovery call with me tomorrow. Can't wait to meet you. I'm super excited. I did some work here. I researched your studio. I love it. Can't wait to talk to you. That's it. Takes me 30 seconds, right? So it is the same principles. It is just a different format. You're going to have to get a lot more texting, maybe add some BombBomb or Bonjoro in there, and think about intentionally reaching out. If you have them on social media, comment on their social media pictures, right? Comment in their DMs. Your job is just to keep the connection going.
Yeah, that's great. And just finding ways to create that connection and create that like personalized experience and communication, I think is awesome. Another thought was like, if you wanted to use Loom for free or something, just sending someone a Loom video or something like that. No, that's great.
The more
That's
they see your face, that acts as a in-person, right? Most of my studios that are online are using one of those three programs right there: BombBomb, Bunjoro, Vidyard. Vidyard's free. It's a plugin. And then BombBomb and Bunjoro, I think, are the same price. They both have free trials. I've also included in the chat, the Studio Sales Solution is in there as well. So you can go check it out. It's live as of this morning again. And you'll see somebody was asking for examples of my lead sheet. It's in there. You can see that.
Yeah, that was going to be sort of along the lines of my next question. I see a couple of questions coming in about lead generation. Does your course touch on that? And do you have any information on that? What Barbara was asking also, like that, her lead generation source is kind of dried up and she's looking for other ways to generate leads, and she teaches mostly online over Zoom.
I have, if you head over to my website, and I just clicked it in there in the marketing tab, I post new articles that are about all of the categories, right? Marketing, sales, member retention, pricing, staff, etc. But I just included the marketing one specifically. If you're brick and mortar, I want you to get into out of home marketing, OOH marketing, right? Using your storefront as your billboard. I have an entire article on out of home marketing and why it is so effective. Or getting into guerrilla marketing. I talk a lot about guerrilla marketing. If you are online, know that the algorithms are shifting right now, right? I'm hearing a lot of people complain. I am also in that boat of complaining. Well, my stuff's not being shown. It will come back around, but your job is to stay on top of those trends, which is exhausting. I know. Make sure your Google is really highly functioning. Make sure your SEO is highly functioning. None of these are fun words, but I do have an SEO and a Google optimization on my website as well, because leads and retention, they're very different problems, right? Normally, I find that clients need to convert more of their leads rather than get more leads, because it's cheaper to convert more than it is to get more. But if you have 0 leads, who are you going to convert, right? So those articles will both help. I have a ton of articles. I write 2 a month for my own website, and I usually base it on what's going on in the industry at that particular time.
That's great. Yeah, I love the call out to the imposter syndrome. I know I felt that as a business owner as well.
It's real.
Yeah. And the community aspect that you hit on. I mean, that was such a big part of what everyone was talking about at Versa. And yeah, that's something great to add value on in the part where you're talking about adding value on top of your memberships and not just discounting prices. I think was really, really great too.
My favorite quote is that nobody wins in a race to the bottom, right? I've seen that here. There's two competing studios or 2 bar studios. I work with one. I don't work with the other. I don't take clients in the same town just because I feel like it's not fair. So I work with one. I don't work with the other. The other one is going out of business. And the reason why is because up until I started working with this particular client, they were racing to the bottom. They were running free weeks and offering these huge discounts. And I finally started working with this client. I was like, your numbers don't check out. You're going to lose your studio if you keep racing to the bottom. Nobody wins. So how can you offer value without always discounting your offering so that your clients expect a discount, right?
Right. And I think typically those people that sign up because they want more value are going to last longer as well, versus people who are just looking for a deal, and they might just be shopping around for the next deal.
No, we don't want deal shoppers, right?
Right.
Let them go. Let them go to your neighbor.
Absolutely.
This was awesome. Thank you so much for all this information, Niki. And I think we got all the questions in the chat. And just to let everyone know, we'll be sending out all these links. If you missed any of Niki's links, we'll be sending them all out with the replay email. And yeah, thank you so much for being here and for joining us. I just posted in the chat, our next webinar is actually going to touch on SEO and being visible online.
Oh,
so
good.
That was a really nice segue into it.
It's so important. Your SEO is crucial, but it's also a black hole, right? you don't need all of the programs, and I've already done paid for all of them. You don't need them. All you need is a really good meta tag description and to have a general idea of what you need to know, because there's so much that you don't need to know. So I love that you guys are doing an SEO practice webinar. It's going to be really helpful.
Yeah, that should be a good one. So
Maybe I
yeah,
should join.
thank you. Yes. Thank you everybody for being here, and especially Eddie and especially Nikki. Thanks so much for all this
No
information.
problem. Thank you for listening to me ramble for an hour. Oh my goodness, it was exhausting,
wonderful.
but it's my favorite topic. Oh, your discount code is embedded. So in that particular sales process or sales page, Tina just asked, your discount code is embedded in that particular link that I just shared with you. So I will turn off the page in 3 days when I do my next webinar. That one is just for you guys. So you don't need the code, actually, you just need that particular link.
Cool.
It
And
says
maybe we'll
start.
try to get that link into the email that goes out with the replay as well, if that would be okay with you, Nikki.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nikki. I got a lot of takeaways from this. I'm
so glad. Someone just said they don't see the link. I just dropped it in the chat again. Studiosalessolution.com. Can you believe I got that .com for $12?
Very nice.
I was very proud. Okay,
That's
with
great.
that, I have 2 clients who are waiting on me, so I'm going to run. But if you have, I don't know why it's not.
We'll get we'll send
Yeah,
the link
we'll
out
send it out
over
to you, Lauren.
email.
There you
It
go.
might just be to host some panelists. Hang on.
Oh, there you go.
And there we go. Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
so much, everybody.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for being
Nikki.
here.
Thank you. Talk
Thank
to you
you,
all
everyone.
soon. If you need me, send me an email. Yeah, I'm always here.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.